Hello, Big Tube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth. I came in here to film, and look who was in my spot where I needed to stand. So I had to pick him up and let him be in the video. This is Harry, or his full name is Prince Harry the Eighth. That's because we started calling him Harry because when we first got him, we had a female cat named Larry who was short-haired and gray. And so he was a stray, and we said, oh, there's that long-haired Larry. And then it just got changed to Harry. And then we shared him for a while with a neighbor who wanted to take him in, even though we had already had him neutered, but my husband didn't really want to keep him. And so we're like, okay, well, the neighbors want him, so they named him Prince. And then eventually he just kept coming back to our house, so we kept him. But at the time when he first showed up in our yard, he would have been our 8th cat. So you can kind of see why my husband didn't really think we needed to keep him. So he became Prince Harry the 8th, but we just call him Harry. Now we only have 4 because sadly we've lost a couple to car accidents. So I make him stay in more than I let him out just because it's safer that way. So anyway, Harry, you can say hi. And then I got to put you down. Okay. All right. So it is time for my May wrap-up. The big challenge in May for me for several years has been a book a day in May and middle grade May. So I have combined those again this year. And I feel like this year, book a day in May has taken off and just become bigger than I ever thought it would be. Not that it's huge, but still it has just grown, and I'm excited about that. My co-host for that challenge is and always has been Elizabeth Tyree from the channel Elizabeth Tyree, or Soul Stained Ink. And so this year we kind of expanded it a little bit. It wasn't just to read a book a day in May, but you could do other things. You could post a book a day. You could do a video a day. You could still read a book a day, but however you wanted to do it. And so we had quite a few people that read a book a day, quite a few people that posted on Instagram, and I know of at least one person who did a video every day and showed us a book a day or an author a day, and that was awesome. So I want to just thank everyone. Especially want to thank Ro from Cozy Reads Mystery, her Discord group, which is Killing It with Cozies. She started a channel in the Killing It with Cozies Discord group for Book a Day in May, I think. Yes, I think she did. She's just great. She has started channels for all my challenges, serious about series and all kinds of things, and she has just really been wonderful to get people going and challenge people to do all my challenges. So thank you, Ro. Awesome. You are amazing. And so several people in that group did read a book a day in May. Storm from Storm Reads told me that this is the most she's ever read in a month, and several people on there. If I start naming names, I'll leave somebody out, and I don't want to leave anybody out. But if you haven't ever joined that group, if you're not a member, I want to encourage you to join. I'll put a link down below. It's really a fun group. They are always chatting about something in there. They do reading sprints and just chat about all kinds of things. There are several booktubers in there, and then several people who are just wonderful friends to talk to and chat with and read with. So I encourage you to join that. And then on Instagram, I noticed, in fact, let me apologize because while I've been trying to get something posted every day on Instagram, I will sometimes just do my post and then I've got to hurry and do something else. And I haven't really interacted with all the other people who've been posting for Book a Day in May. So Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventures, thank you. Melinda from Two Boys Scrappin'. You guys, I think, faithfully did a post every day. And then I did see some posts from Colleen, I think it's Colleen, that is Vintage and Reading, and Monique, the Ginger Librarian. So anyway, just go onto Instagram and follow the hashtag Book a Day in May. I didn't even check to see. Some people might have put A in front of it, a Book a Day in May, and that's probably the same thing. I just forgot to go and check. So anyway, and then on YouTube, my friend from Scotland, Reads and Eats, she did a video every day. It was usually just about a 1-minute video about an author that she wanted to recommend or a book she wanted to recommend. And they're just quick and fun to watch. So I think I've watched, well, I don't know. I started to say I think I've watched them all, but I may have missed a couple. I need to go back and make sure that I have seen all of her videos. And so it's just been super fun. And I want to thank all of you who participated. Even if you didn't make your goal of reading a book a day or posting a book a day, even if you just tried it and hopefully you had fun, and that's what it's all about. So I did basically 2 different projects, and one of them was to read a Dr. Seuss book every day with my daughter Emily. So we're going to do that in a separate wrap-up. She is going to be in the video with me, and I have some really fun stuff planned for that video. It's going to be very special, and I hope that you will join me for that, or join us. We probably won't film it till Friday and probably upload it on Saturday, because today is Wednesday as I'm filming this, and tomorrow she's got a half a day of school. It's the last day of school, but then we also have I have book club after that, so tomorrow's going to be kind of a busy day. But hopefully on Friday there's no school. Her and I are going to be here. Randy and Katie will be at work, and so we will have the day to film and have fun and to upload that for you and show you all of the Dr. Seuss books that we read for the month of May. And we read 34 of them. It would have been 35, but one of them was the Cat in the Hat songbook, and we don't have a piano anymore, so we read a couple of the songs and just kind of skimmed through. So we didn't really count that one as a read, but the reason we read more than 31 is because I was thinking I would go ahead and we would go on through June and maybe try to read all the Dr. Seuss books. But then there were really more than I realized. It would have probably taken a whole nother month, and I just thought I didn't want to burn us out on it, and we should just stop while we're enjoying it, and then maybe next year we'll do the other half. I think there's probably another 30 more that we haven't read, and we can always reread some if we want. So that'll be a fun project to look forward to for next year, but I think Emily enjoyed it, and it was just, it was a fun experience, and I enjoyed spending that time with her, and I will look forward to sharing that with you in a later video. But then the rest of the books that I read, let me just kind of give you a summary. I've been doing Friday Reads videos all month, so I don't need to go into too much detail, but I'll just do a recap. I read 37 other books, like miscellaneous books, and hang on a minute. I'm going to pull my sleeve down. I can't stand to look at a video and like one sleeve is here and this one's way up here. It's because this is the arm I use, so my sleeve gets caught way up. Anyway, let me readjust. Okay. Now, so I read 37 other miscellaneous books. So that's a total for the whole month of 71 books, if you count all the Dr. Seuss books. Now, of the 37 miscellaneous books, 9 of them were print books, which is higher than my average. But of the 9, 4 were novellas, and even of those 4 novellas, only one was quite a few pages. The others were really like very short, probably less than 20 pages in each of those, so not long at all. But then I read 5 full-length books. 2 of the full-length books were middle grade, 2 were nonfiction, and then 1 was adult fiction, which was my BookTube spin book. I'm so glad that I got that out of the way early on, because the first BookTube spin round I waited past the absolute last minute to read that, and so I'm glad that I got that done. Okay, so then of the audiobooks, of which there were 28, 4 of them were for book club, 2 for the current month, and then 2 for future months. I've been trying to kind of read ahead on those. And then for my project to read and finish middle grade trilogies, I read the 3rd book in one trilogy and the 2nd book in another trilogy. So I didn't finish the trilogy that I set out to finish this month, but I did get book 2 read. And for my Serious About Series challenge, I made progress in 2 different series, but I did not finish either of those. And my author binges, that's where I really, what am I trying to say? Let me think of a good analogy. Threw it out of the park, batted it out of the park, I don't know. So my author binges that I planned were for Sharon Creech and Gary Paulsen, and I read or listened to on audio 4 books by each of those authors. And then I did binge another author, and I'm counting that for Mood Reading May, which was hosted by Becca from Hicks Picks Books. And all totaled, titles by Allie Carter that I either read or listened to, 16. I completed one whole series that had 6 main books and then 3 novellas. And then I completed a trilogy that has one novella that is a mashup of the two. So, so it could count for either one. And then there's one novella that I have not read. It's checked out from Hoopla. I have barely started it, and I just didn't have time to finish it. I wanted to finish my other library books, so I will try to go ahead and finish that this month. But if I don't, it's fine. It's a Christmas novella, so even if I don't get time to do it and it expires, I'll check it out again in December and read it for Christmas. And then I read a 2-book a duology by her, and I read a standalone. So 16 out of 17 titles that I could have read. She has another trilogy that I've read before, and so I will do a whole author focus video on Allie Carter very soon. In fact, like this weekend, while I still have all of these books checked out. And I only read one cozy mystery, and it was for the Killing It with Cozy's book club, which is the Discord group that is hosted by Ro from Cozy Reads Mystery and Tiffany the Beach Bum Bookworm. And then for middle grade May, I read a total of 20 books that I would consider middle grade. Now, some of those books are probably cataloged YA. I read another 8 that I would consider definitely YA. And really, of all 28 books, most of them could be read by a middle grade student and they would be fine. There was one that was a short book about slavery by Gary Paulsen that I think was pretty gritty for a very young middle grade student. I wouldn't recommend it unless they were very mature and could handle it, because it was graphic, and I mean it was real. I'm sure that it was real, but just I don't know. It was tough. It was tough for me to listen to. And then 9 adult books. So that is kind of the wrap up of everything. So let me just show you real quick. I'm not going to show you the Dr. Seuss books, but I will. And in fact, I don't even think I'll show you the Allie Carter books. If you're interested, I'll show you the first one of each series. And if you're interested in seeing that video, Allie Carter writes a lot about spies and thieves. One of her series is about thieves and one's about spies, and that's kind of, she sort of gets into political things, but it's just so well done. She does a great job. So I've got all of them over here, so let me just show you the different series. The one that is definitely a middle grade series is the Gallagher Girls, and the first book is I'd Tell You I Love You, but Then I'd Have to Kill You. And that's really good. So there's 6 main books, and there's some novellas. So I won't show you all of those right now. Then the trilogy that I would consider YA is Heist Society. And this is the first one. And it has a couple of novellas as well. And then this is her newest series. And I don't know if there's going to be any more. Right now it's a duology. And these were just super fun. The first one is Winterborne Home for Vengeance and Valor. And then the second one is Winterborne Home for Mayhem and Mystery. This is about a girl, April, who was left on a doorstep or a fire station or an orphanage or something as a young, like, I don't know, maybe toddler, very young girl, and her mother left her a note and a key, and the note said, "I'll be back for you." So she has always held out hope that her mother would be back. But anyway, through a series of events, she ends up at this Winterborne home and discovers that there's a lot of mystery surrounding this family who now have all disappeared except this one uncle. Well, they were all killed or disappeared, and it's just a really good mystery, and it's just a lot of fun. So these I would recommend. They were great. And then one standalone by her that I would consider YA, I'm sure. And this was very good as well. I listened to this on audio. This is basically it's about a president's son and a Secret Service guard, or his former Secret Service agent's daughter, and they end up in Alaska together, and someone's trying to kidnap the president's son, and she has to save him. So because she's the daughter of her father, who is a former Secret Service. So she knows a lot of skills. She's got a lot of skills. And they were old friends back when her father worked at the White House. He does not work at the White House anymore. And now her and her father have moved to Alaska. But for some reason, the president sends his son out to Alaska, maybe for his safety. I'm not even sure. I can't remember now. But while he's there and they're out in the middle of nowhere, he gets kidnapped. And she is left for dead, but she doesn't die. And so she's able to follow them, and it's really good. I really, really enjoyed it. So that's my Allie Carter stuff. So let me go ahead and show you the rest of my author binges. And I apologize, the dog is barking in the background. The Gary Paulsen books that I read, finally got these done right at the end of the month. I listened to these on audio. These two are labeled as a duology, Nightjohn and Sarny. They are related, but you don't really have to read one to read the other. I own this copy of Sarny, and I saw that they had Nightjohn on Hoopla, so I went ahead and listened to it. It's a lot shorter. Nightjohn is the one that's very graphic. It is harsh. And, of course, I know that slavery was harsh and horrible and horrific. But I'm just not sure how suitable this is for a very young reader. I think it's, yeah, both of these are labeled, I'm sure this one is labeled YA. That's the section this came from the library. This one, I don't know. I got this at a library sale. But this one really, well, they both are about this man, Nightjohn. When Sarny is young, she meets him at a plantation, and he starts to teach her how to read. And I forget now how he even learned how to read. But of course, that was illegal for slaves to learn how to read. But she's able to, and it talks a little bit about how slaves were able to pass knowledge on to each other and how they had to do it in secret and things like that. So I believe these are based on true stories, and I believe Sarny was a real person. So this book is about her sharing her life story after she has gotten maybe in her 80s or 90s and is, of course, free at this point, and is writing and telling her story of her life. So very good, very compelling, and I'm glad that I read those. These two I didn't love, especially not Tracker. Tracker starts out with a young boy living with his grandparents, and he finds out that his grandfather has cancer, and they had always hunted together. Once a year, they hunted to, not really as a sport, but to get meat for their family. So now his grandfather has been diagnosed with cancer, and he told him he's going to have to go and hunt on his own. Well, that's all well and good, but while he's hunting, I don't know, it kind of goes through, in his whole coming to terms with his grandfather dying, it just gets a little strange, and I don't know, it's just kind of out there a little bit. And I know if you are trying to deal with someone's death, you are going through a lot of things mentally and emotionally, spiritually, and all that. I don't know. It just kind of, it wasn't very appealing to me. This one is about a boy who takes a dog team across country in, I guess I don't know if he's in Alaska or Canada. I'm not sure. Anyway, I didn't love this one either. It's pretty harsh. I don't know. I mean, Gary Paulsen does a great job with survival stories, and that's pretty much what this is. But I started picking up his books because I read Hatchet and loved that whole series, and I still do. I love it. But these two didn't appeal to me quite as much. I probably liked Dogsong better than Tracker, and it's a Newbery Honor book. But anyway, I think Gary Paulsen is one of those authors that speaks in a lot of different voices. He has a lot of different types of books, and I don't know. I'm sure that I'm gonna, as I continue to read through his catalog of work, there are some that I will like more than others, and I love Hatchet. So those were the four that I read by Gary Paulsen, and then the four that I read by Sharon Creech. Now, she does a great job with writing stories about children who have either lost their way or have lost their family and basically need someone to love them, or they are trying to find themselves because of some tragic life events and things like that. So the two I read earlier in the month, Chasing Redbird and Ruby Holler. Now, I had read Ruby Holler before. It was just as good as I remember it. It was great. Both of these were very good. And then The Great Unexpected kind of also follows that theme. And then the other one I don't own a copy of, but I saw this on Hoopla and went ahead and picked up a copy. This is called Moo, and it is about a family who moved to a rural area from a city area, and these two kids end up helping this woman on a farm, and then they end up helping her take care of her cow, and they join, I guess it doesn't really say 4-H, but the girl ends up showing the cow in the fair. And I remember saying earlier after I read this book that I think we don't see much of that in contemporary middle grade literature, or even in older middle grade literature. I feel like the farm kids have kind of been left out of middle grade books. So this is a good example of that. Now, even though these kids didn't start out on the farm, they did move to the farm and learn the ways and all of that. There are a few harsh life lessons in this, as is real life if you live on a farm. There are many life lessons that you learn wherever you live, but some that are in particular to farm kids that are not necessarily lessons that city kids would learn, and vice versa. But anyway, Moo, I think, is a good story to represent the farm kids and the kids who go to the county fair and show animals and things like that. Well, whether you agree with that or not, that's a different story. But in this age of our wanting everyone to be represented, that's a group of kids that are not necessarily represented. So anyway, moving on. The trilogies that I worked on. Early in the month, I finished the testing trilogy by reading Graduation Day. I also read a little novella, forget what it was called, but it was very short, and I think I got it free on my Kindle. So I finished that. And then the very last book of the month that I read in print is Racso and the Rats of NIMH. This is book 2 in the Rats of NIMH trilogy, and so I have not read the third one yet, but I will hope to read it this month in June. So this was cute. I enjoyed this. This is a library copy. I own the third book, and I wanted to get this done so I could get it back to the library. I'm on the lookout for my own copy of this, because this is a book I might reread. I had to read the last few chapters really fast just to get them in before bedtime. Well, it was past bedtime. I stayed up till 2 a.m., but I'm still counting it for the month of May. And I thought it was good. And I'm a huge fan of Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of NIMH, and I think this was really just as good. I enjoyed it a lot, even though it's written by the daughter of the original author. So then I did make progress in 2 series that I'm trying to read, or that I am planning to finish for my challenge for the whole year, which is Get Serious About Series, or #Serious About Series. And I want to thank Ro again from the Discord group for just encouraging everyone to do this. And my Goodreads group is where I have threads for that. And I think she has a thread on, or a channel on the Discord group for it as well. So thank you, Ro, and all of you guys who are participating in Get Serious About Series. So I read or listened to the next to last Miss Julia book. I've still got the last one to read, and I'll get to it at some point this year. This is Miss Julia Knows a Thing or Two, and I did enjoy that. And then the other series that I made progress in is The Chronicles of Prydain by Lloyd Alexander. So again, this is for middle grade May, although I've been trying to read at least one a month for a while now to get these all read. I've got one left. I want to get it read in June and finish that series. So, and this was fun, but the ending disappointed me a little bit. It was about Taran, who has been the main character in all of the books, but usually in each book he is sent on some sort of quest, or he ends up being a part of some sort of quest. And in this book, he picks his own quest. He wants to find his parentage. He doesn't know who his parents were or are. And so he sets out on a journey, and he ends up learning a lot of life lessons on the way. But the ending just kind of fell a little bit flat. Maybe it's just that the author is leading us into the fifth book. I don't know. We'll see. But it was an enjoyable book. And then for book club, I read 4 books. The 2 that were for this month, for my mystery book club, I reread Shoot, Don't Shoot by J.A. Jance. This is book 3 in the Joanna Brady series, and it's totally fine to start here. The author gives definitely enough background information that you can start here and go forward. In the first book, Joanna Brady is not even the sheriff. Her husband is running for sheriff, and then he gets killed, and she has to solve that mystery. So in this book, she's now the sheriff, and it goes forward. So apologize if that gives you any spoilers. It's really not a big deal, because we know that this is a book about a female county sheriff. So we know she's going to get there at some point. But anyway, that's a good book. And then for my regular literati book club, we read Anxious People by Frederick Backman. I really enjoyed this. I think the audio was very good. Actually, it was great. The narrator was just so funny with the voices when the policeman was interviewing the different people who were in the apartment when the bank robber came in. Their voices, their many different voices, were just so entertaining, and it was just great. So I would recommend this, but I would recommend it on audio, I think, for sure. And then I read ahead just a little bit. This was probably my favorite read for the month. Sunflower Sisters by Martha Hall Kelly. Definitely my favorite read of this series. The first 2 books were about World War II and then World War I. And now this one is set in the Civil War. And again, this is one of those books I think is better on audio. The narrators were fantastic, and I would highly recommend them. So definitely, it's a chunker. And I saw someone, I was reading some Goodreads reviews, and a couple people didn't like this because they said, well, I think they were trying to compare Anne May with Scarlett O'Hara, and I don't really think that there's a lot to compare there. They're not meant to be similar characters. So I think I'm going to do a whole video on this and just talk about the character of Anne May and compare and contrast with Scarlett O'Hara, and just chat about that. So this book just came out a couple months ago or a month ago. So I know a lot of you haven't had a chance to read it. But if you get a chance to read it, then I recommend it. I would recommend it on audio. And let me know what you think about it. And then this was my book. Actually, I was thinking it was behind. No, okay. This is for next month. Not this month, not June, but July, for my mystery book club. So I started this, I think, in March and didn't finish it. So I picked it back up in April and finally finished it. Or did I start it in April and finish it in May? I did finish it in May. I'm just trying to think when I started it. I don't know. Anyway, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This is very confusing, and I don't think I would recommend this one on audio. Even though I listened to it on audio, I kept having to go back and listen again. So I'm going to have to go back through this physical book before we discuss it on audio and take some notes, because it was very confusing. It was entertaining to a point, but pretty confusing. So I'm kind of middle of the road on this one. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. So, you know, it is what it is. And then I had one cozy mystery, which I don't have a physical copy of. I ordered it, but it's been checked out. There's only one copy in our whole county, and it's been checked out. So I couldn't get it, but it's called Death Becomes Her by Nancy Coco. And it's the first in a cozy mystery series, but I think there's only 2 in the series. And it's about a woman who has a shop where she sells products made from beeswax and bee products. And someone is murdered or killed, and they're holding the label from one of her lip balms. So, of course, then she's and she finds the body, so, of course, she's a suspect. And it goes from there. I enjoyed it. We read that for the Killing It with Cozy's Discord group book club. And, it's that club meets in the Discord group, but also on Tiffany, the Beachbum Bookworms channel. And so we usually do the discussions on her channel, live streams, and all that stuff. So I'll put that information down below if you want to join that group. They are doing what they call a knockout challenge, which I haven't been participating in, but that's where they take 2 cozy mysteries per month of a similar genre, of a similar theme, and kind of pit them against each other, read them both, and then vote to see which one they like better. And that's a lot of fun. And this coming month, well, June, is crafts. So there's 2 yarn themed mysteries that they're reading for that. And then book club they also have, and so for this month they're reading a book that I've already read, so I don't have to read it again. I've read it twice, in fact. It's Mr. Monk Goes to the Firehouse. So if you're interested in that, be sure you join the Discord group. So I think I have covered everything, at least that I have a physical copy of, and even things that I don't. Let me check my book here and see if there's anything I missed. I had a fun month, and let's see. Yep, I think that's everything. So I want to thank everyone who participated in my challenges, and I want to thank Becca from Hicks Picks Books for encouraging me to mood read some in May, and I had a lot of fun. So I hope that you had a lot of fun with whatever you read in the month of May, and that you are having some fun with whatever you're planning to read in June. There's a lot of stuff going on. I am going to have a second TBR video for June because I've decided to join the Golden Girls Readathon as well. So that'll be coming up hopefully tomorrow, or I don't know, probably, yeah, tomorrow's Friday Read, so I'll share that with you then as well. So that's all I think for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you. Hey everybody, I know I just signed off, but I am just going to tack this on at the end because I've been watching through the footage and realizing that I misspoke a couple of times, and I also forgot about a couple of the books, at least, well, 3 of the books actually. So I didn't tell you about my nonfiction books and my BookTube Spin book, which, you know, I know I've been doing Friday Reads videos all during the month of May, so you've seen them if you've seen that. But I was excited to get another Miss Read book read. This was my BookTube Spin pick. And so this is about a whole different group of people. I've been reading the Fair Acre series and the Thrush Green series, but this is the first in a duology called the Kexley Chronicles. And Kexley is near Fair Acre, and this is set in an earlier time frame than the Fair Acre series. So there are a couple of little mentions of people who are in the Fair Acre series, but they're much younger in this. So it's kind of fun. It was a little slow going at first, just getting to know a new group of characters, but I enjoyed the read. And then my 2 nonfiction books. One I read because it was in my TBR jar, and I was able to glean a little bit from this, even though my youngest is now graduating from high school. There were a few redeeming things in this, and I think still probably a good book to pass on to someone else whose kids are younger and they're still coming up through the ranks of, you know, adolescence and all of that. So I'll probably put this in a little free library somewhere. But first, I need to finish up the last couple of books from that last TBR jar draw and do a wrap-up of everything I read. So you'll see that book one more time at least. And then my favorite nonfiction read of the month was the read-along of Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis with Krista from Books and Jams and several other hosts. This book is divided into 4 parts, and they did a discussion every Sunday in the month of May, and I watched all of them live except one, and I watched it like the very next morning before I did my devotional reading. So the discussions were very good. I didn't really contribute anything. I just mostly listened and watched and soaked it all in. But this book really is just about the best book I've ever read that explains Christianity in the most simple, basic terms. So I would say, even if you have no interest in becoming a Christian and you're trying to just understand why anybody would want to, you should read this. because this just lays it out so perfectly. And I thought it was fantastic. So even though C.S. Lewis is very deep and philosophical, this is so readable. It's so easy to read. The chapters are very short, and it's just very thought-provoking and excellent. I've read a few other C.S. Lewis books, and I think this is my favorite so far. Really, really enjoyed it. So I think that is everything now that I read this month, other than the Dr. Seuss books, which we'll do in another video. So I misspoke in my earlier in the video. I said I have book club tomorrow. I don't have book club tomorrow. It's the second Thursday and the third Thursday. Tomorrow's only the first Thursday of this month, so we might very well get our Dr. Seuss video filmed tomorrow. And also, I said something dumb about when I was talking about Sunflower Sisters. I think I said something about discussing it on audio. I meant discussing it at book club, which is not going to be for a few months for that one. I just wanted to read ahead. And there was something else I said that was just silly. I don't know. I will probably, when I go back and put all this together, I'll put a little thing of text over the place where I misspoke, because sometimes I get in a hurry and I don't even know what comes out of my mouth. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, put some kind of emoji in your comment. I don't know, maybe a book emoji if you're on your phone and you can do that. I don't know, or anything, smiley face, I don't care. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.